What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Dating fatherless women, or comparing fatherless women, I guess, to women who have fathers. Um, I just started thinking about some things, and one of the things I was thinking about was when I talked to women who didn't have a father in their life, there were positives and negatives. When I talked to women who did have a father in their life, there were positives and negatives. And and people don't necessarily compare the two sometimes. Nah, when I say positives and negatives, I'll explain. Um, Dealing with a woman who was fatherless, she might not have the guilt of doing something that might not make her father proud of her, which in a negative way is not a good thing, but in a positive way it is because she's open enough to be capable of trying things that may work out in her best interest without having some internal shame system about it. I'm not talking like sexual exploits or anything like that. But but that would be the negative part of it because some people are loose because they don't have a person in their head like, no, no, baby, that you're not that low. You know. The other thing is this, but fatherless women that I've encountered have a tendency to be have no misguided respect system. And I think it's because everything that they respect is everything that their mother probably dated, even though those men may not have been respectable. What I mean by that is when you see girls like, I don't want to be with no abusive man, and they wind up with one, you know, eventually you might find out that their mother was dating an abusive man. So consciously they may say that's not what they want, but in practical practice and what they're attracted to is the same dude that they're used to seeing as a kid. Same thing with absentee guys or deadbeats, or guys who just come around every now and then. If if her dad was a Rolling Stone and you like, well, where's your kid's father? Oh, well, he got kids everywhere. Well, that repeats itself. But the respect thing is kind of funny because I think guys when talking about well, I got my shit together, these girls don't have no respect for me because one is it is partially true that she don't know she wasn't around enough respectable men to see what there was to respect in the first place. And another part of it is because she was around a lot of negativity, she's an anarchist, like you know, and that's one of the things that bothered me also because those are kind of people who do little simple shit that'll piss you off. Uh, they don't clean up after themselves, or when you clean up, they make a mess immediately, or you might go out with a person like that, and they just might just run up a bill just for running up a bill's sake to say that they went out and had somebody else buy some expensive shit for them. That type of shit. People that insult everything, and I've dealt with those kind of women. People that insult everything about you. They, when they met you, everything was cool with the first, but when you go out on a date, they insult everything fucking about you, and then want you to pay for that shit, which is ridiculous. But comparing that sometimes to women who have fathers in their lives, I'll say, women who have fathers in their lives have a better chance of interacting with men because they're used to interacting with men and how men operate and see how men think and like, no, okay, this is a good idea, this ain't. The only thing I've ever seen that always created a problem was sometimes daddy's little girl expect everybody to treat her like daddy, and that's unrealistic. My daddy did this for me, and my daddy. You gotta understand something. Your daddy, is part of the reason why you're on this earth, and your daddy loves you to death. But your daddy might not have told you when you was on some bullshit, you know. And when somebody who's not your daddy say, you on some bullshit, you go, but my daddy would never say I was on bullshit. Yeah, your daddy never did because your daddy loves you. I don't love you the same way your daddy does. You on some bullshit. So sometimes their expectation of guys is a little too high because it gives no leeway for common sense. Like you're not gonna be with your dad. The same way a woman wouldn't want to be with a guy who is a mama's boy, and you're like, well, you need to go date your mama, cause I'm not doing all of that shit. Mama folded my clothes, and she took the corners off my bread when I was 28. No, how come you can't do that? My mama always told me she loved me and I was okay even when I did stupid shit. Why you can't love me like that? Like, you know what, go be with your mama. It's the same, type of aspect. But sometimes, especially speaking on that respect thing, um, it may be nothing you can do to get to a space of mutual respect because sometimes I've dated women who were still in that phase of I'm gonna get back at men because of my daddy. And you might not be, even with simple stuff, she might be pretty, but you can't tell her she's pretty because she doesn't believe you because nobody ever really drilled that into her head. So it doesn't matter how often you say she's attractive, she doesn't believe you. You could treat her like a lady. It doesn't matter how chivalrous you are and how much you treat her like a lady. She'll never respect it because nobody, you know, had her see the benefits of it. So she's just gonna just throw it to the side like it's not a issue. There's nothing you can do about that. Um, if she has kids with a guy, she might be in that mode where it's nothing that you could do because I didn't have a daddy, so why would my kid need a daddy? And it only comes with time of a person's self that they get to a space where they realize the error in their ways. And unfortunately, it creates a rift between male and female because um, you can pretty much look at a person and talk to them and gauge this person will be like this for a long ass time. Or this person is like, they working through it. I can see that. Or this person like they almost there. And what I mean by that is they almost at the space where they have reasonable expectations of the men they deal with, along with reasonable expectations of what they are and what they're supposed to be. That I think that is one of the most um, that is a big factor at times because people have a tendency to um, not evaluate themselves and what they're bringing to the table, but know what is good enough or not good enough for them from a person that they may meet. You know, just my opinion. I got things to do. I'm a little tired. Peace.